Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lyng Parish Council meeting for November. Before we start, just to remind you we are recording this meeting. If you do not wish to be in front of the camera, which is your left, my left, please stay seated. And we'll open up with apologies for absence. We have one apology, and that's from Keith Meader, Councillor Meader. John?
Can we just also note that following the resignation of Councillor Sullivan, the notice of vacancy was displayed. The due date for receipt of requests to hold an election has been confirmed as the 9th of November, and Brecon will notify the Council after that date as to whether any requests have been received for an election to fill the vacancy.
Thank you, John.
And if not, we can then go on.
That's right, yeah. So it's the cut-off was today, so we'll get to that sometime soon.
Thank you for confirming that.
If anybody wishes to stand for council, they need to put in writing to our clerk.
You're already
Well,
on, Danny, you don't have to reach that to me.
I just wanted to take the opportunity to say, I know she's not here, but thank you to Georgie for her work within the parish council and the village, because obviously she had taken on the statue of Bam Bam, which has been done and up and looking lovely. So
Yeah,
just wanted to say thank you.
public thank you, recorded.
Yeah.
Thank you. Declarations of interest and requests for dispensation. Oh, before I go on, I must admit, say something personal. I have to wear this hat. I've had a skin graft, and the graft hasn't taken. I've got a dressing on, and I have to keep it warm, so that's why I'm wearing this foreign hat. Okay, just to, if you're wondering. Declarations of interest and requests for dispensations. Allotments for Jason.
And are we discussing the latest planning
Yes.
commission? Then I need to put personal interest to that.
Okay, personal interest from Mel. Anybody else? No? Okay, minutes. Receive and confirm minutes of the Parish Council meeting held on the 12th of October. Anybody propose, please?
Sorry?
Anybody wants to propose?
What happened to propose that they be formally adopted and signed and delivered?
Seconded? Jason.
Yeah, I just made one adjustment, which Joe's done. So as they are now, yes, accepted.
Talk amongst yourselves.
No, you're not singing. No time is appropriate time for that. Ever.
We sign the date. Okay, information from matters arising. Does anybody have any matters arising from the minutes? From the council, please? Councils, any matters arising?
The only thing I just wanted to raise was the email with regards to use of the playing field.
That's been dealt with later.
Okay, brilliant. Apart from that, nothing.
No, but I've got one or two. The ball scarring devices on the grave, we agreed at the last meeting they would be removed. Have they been removed? Do we know?
I've removed them, probably not out of that. Haven't taken the vote yet.
But they have been removed off the grave and put to one side.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And the Sam 2 we talk about later on, the data later on.
That's on the agenda.
Yeah, it's on the agenda. We received a complaint regarding the dog's mess on the playing field. We also did have an item on the agenda last meeting from council meeting, which we deferred to this meeting. However, council meeting is not here, it's not on the agenda, but in order to follow up, Joe,
Sorry.
legal, well, we've looked into it, and basically we cannot apply for any sort of injunction to stop anybody taking their dogs onto the field, am I right?
That's under item 11.
That's under item 11, we'll come back to that, sorry.
Non-scarers are
All
exempt.
scarers, yeah. Our ownership of the allotments, allocation of the deeds, we are going to be looking into that. I'm currently registered at the Norwich Archives to go and spend a day, believe it or not, with the buggies and a flask of coffee to go through and find these deeds, so that we can get a ruling on it from the allotments. But please, I know the allotment people are wanting information. I'm trying my best to get it. Unfortunately, due to my operation and the fact I've got a lack of transport, I'm not being able to deal with it, so apologies for that, but I will get on with it before the January meeting. Dog show. We held a dog show back in September, and we should have talked about it in the October meeting, and we failed to talk about it. So again, apologies for that. It was a successful day as far as the dog show was concerned. Over 45 dogs and their families came to the field, but unfortunately we had a very, very poor turnout on the car boot. We had 7, and 2 of them, or 1 of them was a councillor. 7 vehicles turned up. Very poor turnout from the village. So it was decided by the councillors who were there on the day that we felt it was inappropriate to take any money off them, because they would have basically made a loss, but they didn't raise that much money. It was unfortunate, and it's something we should have thought about before, but definitely think about for the next one, if we do a next one. It wasn't very well attended for a car boot, which is unfortunate. So I do apologise if people thought we were going to get some money in the purse, but on the day was felt it would not be in order to do it. Are there any questions over that?
I think that, sorry, now you had a hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, also bearing in mind that that weekend was the week following death of the Queen.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of emails from people asking if it was still going ahead, because it was a parish council event and parish council work wasn't happening at that point. So I think that did have quite a big impact to it also. It was a bit of an odd week, but yeah, hopefully next time round and some further advertising. I think I could push more with the advertising and signs out, but we just sort of run out of time. So I think we just need more time.
We learned a lot of lessons from it.
Yeah, more time. But it just taught us that we could do it, how we would do it, and put a bit of a practice into place. So
Whoever's on the council after the elections, and if they wish them to do it the following year, we can at least pass on some tips, hints, and what not to do and what to do, in order to make it a bit more successful.
yeah.
Any other questions? Sorry, Robin?
Yeah, have you spoken to, is it Janine, the lady that organised the actual dog show?
Yes.
Is she intending to, she was talking about wanting to make it an annual?
Yeah, well, she wants to make an annual event, so she will contact the Lyng organiser next year, and then us the following year. So she will be like an annual visitor to the field, as it were. She's very keen to include more attractions, such as agility for the dogs and things, agility courses, and have a go with your dog and things like that. They were very pleased with the organisations and the setup, and they can see to make expanding it and making it a bigger success next time round.
Good. I think though that we do need to look at some way of generating some income.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Just as a general point, Melanie may have a good point about the Queen's death affecting the turnout. There have been good, I've attended a couple of very good club groups on the field in the past. There was one before this hall was built, I think it was actually the race house of the last hall, and that was very well attended. And I also did the one at the first ever Lyng thing. I think you had a stall there as well. And that was well attended both by car movers and by purchases. So it's, I wouldn't want you to give up on it. I think that it is still a worthwhile avenue.
Oh, yes, I think so, but it all depends on who's on sitting here. Can they? Any other questions on it? Going back to the minutes, we talked about the action following the receipt of the tree report. We agreed that we would look at this other company to do give us an evaluation on the state of the trees. We will provide it with a map, etc., etc. Joe, you have some information on that?
Yeah, they've said that they will carry out the tree report and focus on the trees in the churchyard as they've been highlighted as a health and safety concern.
So that will now go ahead.
Good.
Yeah, that's all I've got from that, because the rest we're talking about during the agenda. Okay, to receive reports from district county councils and police. No one here. And we adjourn the meeting now to allow members of the public to speak on agenda items only, and we have 15 minutes to do this. So are there anybody that wishes to speak on agenda items?
Yes, please. I have 2 items that I would like to quickly speak on.
Yeah.
First of all, the council's approval to allow pub to use council land for market stalls. I understand that these stalls are going to be at the front of the pub on the green. Is that correct?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Have you done anything about the parking that will happen on that dangerous bend?
It's not our event. It's what we've said, they could put a stalls on that little triangle of green.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about it. I don't care. They can have a market thing. What I'm concerned about is when there's events on at the pub, the parking round that bend is positively dangerous.
I appreciate it.
Before the council make any decision on that, are they going to look into what they're doing about extra parking?
Well, permission's been given, I think. Am I right?
Yeah.
What we can do is offer our car park for them to direct traffic up that way. It's only a short walk through the cemetery to the pub from there. I'm pretty sure they'll be allowed to use the whole car park as well. So we could, I suppose. I mean, if council are happy, yeah, I can go and speak to them tomorrow and get them to park that way. Now, that way, hopefully, take cars off that road. But also remind them they should be allowing cars to park on that road. But there's no double yellow lines there, is there? No.
You could get some cones, couldn't you?
You could
You know,
ask,
Sorry.
you can ask the police to put cones up.
Yeah. I could offer them. I'll ask the trustees of the village hall whether we've got police parking cones, and I'll offer, if we are allowed, I'll let the pub use them. I'll talk to the chair and the treasurer of the village hall tonight, tomorrow, and then I'll speak to the pub.
Yeah, hopefully people won't, but I mean it's down to the drivers, isn't it?
I think that people will if they are not actively discouraged, even though so it is, as you say, like a short step to here.
Yeah.
It is when you've raised yourself in the past the question of parking there, and that is a particularly dodgy place. So if we can, I think that the answer to the query is to get the codes up if possible.
And your second item?
The second item is item 11, for you to put something in your formal council policy allowing the use of the playing field to exercise dogs. Does that mean that you're going to change the terms of the trust? And therefore, if that's changing the terms of the trust, because that's a trust in the field in trust, so if you're changing council policy, are you changing the terms of the trust? And the other thing I have to say about is you've got a sign up on this end of the cemetery saying dogs should be kept on a lead in the cemetery. Why is that not applied to the old part of the cemetery?
Anybody?
So what we need is a sign, basically you're saying you've seen people with dogs off leads or something.
Yes.
Right, then we need a sign at the other end of the sign. I haven't, I mean, I'm down there once a week or once a fortnight, I have to say that I have once seen people with dog off lead there and I did ask them to.
Yeah, it's difficult because you can't enforce people to keep their dogs on a lead because it's not a legal requirement, but we can ask them to put their dogs on the leads while they're walking by putting a sign up. It's not a legal requirement to have your dog on a lead.
We can request.
Mm.
They do, it is a legal requirement if you have a dog to keep it under close control.
Under close control, yes, but not on a lead.
Yeah, no, quite so. And if, I'm not quite sure what the language they're seeing, but if dogs have been running pell-mell amongst the graves, then that is not under close control.
No, it's not. It's
That
also disrespectful.
has been on my.
Okay, we'll keep it to the public. We can talk about that. We will be talking about the dog thing later on. Paul, sorry.
Okay. I only came across item 7 when I printed the agenda tonight. And I have a personal interest as my property, my garden wall abuts the lawn or common land in front of the fosse. So there's a couple of things I'd like to say. First of all, the Place Council over the years has allowed that very pleasant piece of common land to be eroded for car parking. And the only thing that stopped further erosion is a telegraph post, as far as I can do that. The other thing is, members of the public at busy times often just drive onto this piece of land and park there. So I simply ask that you try and persuade users of the pub to park behind the pub, for one thing, and that you keep an eye on this quite pleasant piece of land that is used properly and well maintained. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. It's a very good point you raise, actually. Very good. Yes. Yeah.
I wanted to know about item 13. The first one, receiving the update regarding the stream on the boundary. What exactly is happening? The boundary to the allotments, obviously on.
We'll discuss that on the agenda. Well, we can tell you what's happening. That's what we discuss it.
The thing is, we're not allowed to speak then, so how can we make our point about
Well,
that
the point
specific thing?
you're asking for us for information. And we'll give that information under the agenda item.
So, the big
Otherwise, we're
point is
talking about it
asking
twice.
You can't speak at the time when you're going to speak about something.
All I can say is that,
Well,
like
interesting.
I said when I referred to the minutes of the last meeting, I am going to go down to the archives to find the deeds, to find exactly where that water is. I have my opinions on it, but we need to find out exactly where that is. My opinions, if you want to know, is that it's halfway across that stream.
So you're just talking about the street, you're not talking about going into the allotments beside Jason's house and our cottage.
No,
Just
no,
talking
no,
about
no,
It's all to do with the property,
no,
nothing to do
no,
with our access.
no.
No, that's what I'm
Yeah.
clarifying.
If you go down to the end of the track and the gate going into the left, plot what was plot 12,
Yeah,
we're trying to create an access into there for allotment users to drive onto there, reverse and drop stuff in. Sorry, I couldn't hear you because I've got this over here.
yeah.
You'd have to speak up, guys. Yeah.
Well, you've clarified what I wanted to know, so it's nothing to do with the access
No.
going past our
No,
property.
no,
That's all, that's fine.
thank you.
Yeah, just to say about that, obviously, because we've given you the information about the boundary on the land registry document. So I am hoping that when we get the deeds,
Yeah.
that will confirm that,
Yeah.
and that you will take it quite seriously. Us having some water.
I've always
Yeah.
known, Nicky, I've always taken this seriously. I think all of us should take it
So
seriously.
we've been some people have belonged to about 20 years,
Yeah.
and we've never had anything like water at all.
Yeah.
And
We-
we're getting now a
We're not wall of silence, not getting a wall of silence, we're trying to solve the problem for
Oh,
you.
yeah, I know, just that, I just wanted to say about it because.
Again, as I explained, I've not been able to get down there because of my operations
Yes, I
and
appreciate
because of
that
lack of
too.
transport.
Yeah,
I will
appreciate
get
that.
to it.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say, just in this open arena, that, you know, because people have had allotments for over 20 years, some of them, and, you know, like they're putting up the rent next year from 12 to 20, but we need, obviously, we'll be putting up that as part of the difference, isn't it? I don't know what the figure is, 60%. You know, so obviously we would hope and expect something in return in that respect. You know, it's like we're cultivating the land, aren't we? And to cultivate it, we have to have water, don't we? And in a drought especially, it's not going to be very good. People have lost their plants. It's not being very good. So we do hope and pray, basically, that and you know that we can have water and have some funding towards doing that.
Sorry, to go back to number 11, I haven't quite finished. If you intend to change the use of the recreation ground,
Sorry, item 11.
yeah, both play area,
Oh, right.
dog thing, will that affect in future if you apply for any grants for any sort of sporting activities on that field? And do the council, if you change the use of the field, will the council still have to pay for the maintenance people to cut the grass and maintain it?
It's not even an issue, is it?
Yes.
It's
That's
even
not
an
an
issue.
agenda
It's
item,
not
is
an
it?
agenda item.
The change
Well,
of
that
use.
is, well,
Change the uses today.
well, that's say about the formal policy, so if you're changing the policy, that to me, you're changing the,
The council aren't changing the policy.
well, why is it on there then?
Because it was asked to be an agenda item, but the gentleman who put on the agenda is not here at the moment.
It was on last month's agenda item, not this month's. Any other points from public, or can we move on? We have 2 minutes left. Okay, moving on to item 7.2, to receive data and approve further action. I'll hand this over to,
Why have I put number 17 that ratify the council's approval? Why not?
that's that one line up on the one there.
No, hang on, perhaps I am. Then.
I've got that as item 7. What we've got to ratify councillor's approval.
Yeah, that's
So that we have
Yeah,
use
yeah,
council land for market storage.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon, yeah, I've got it here now, yeah. You sent out two draft agendas or something along, apologies, yeah. Ratify council's approval to allow the pub to use the council land for market stalls. So, to clarify, the pub has asked if they can use that small triangle of grass up the front where the statue is for a couple of stalls to walk for their marking. We also, the email, we all replied, it's just to ratify that, I think. So, is there a proposal, please?
Yeah, so I think what we said last time, providing they have liability insurance, and
We were told, well, I think we need
The
also
risk
put in
assess-
risk
risk
assessment about
assessment.
parking.
then we will approve.
I think, Mr Chairman, we also need to take on board the concern that should be raised about parking.
Yeah, that's what I said about the parking, that they use the codes for the parking. The parking does not occur on the street. Yeah. Seconder for that? Yeah, Jason.
Who's in favour of it?
Favour? 4 against? 1. Okay, item 8, sub 2, to receive data and approve further action. Robin?
Yeah, I'm pleased to say I've managed to sort my way through the data analyzer. It's quite interesting actually. I had expected to see that possibly we would see a reduction in speeds. We haven't seen that, but what we have seen is not altogether bad. It's we've seen consistency all the way through on the various sites. For example, just to outline the figures that we've got here, we get to learn things like what is the maximum speed that has been recorded there, what percentage of vehicles were speeding and by how much, and we also have what is possibly the most relevant figure as far as everyday matters go. This is a figure which is called the 85th percentile. It's the figure which is the speed at which 85% of the vehicles are travelling. This takes out the odd free high speed motion, but we get them anyway in the speeding analysis. But it also, for example, if you consider the site on the common, you'll get a lot of vehicles approaching that if, for example, they've just pulled up, or just pulled away from the shop, or they've just been in the post box, or they've just come out of the drift. They will be travelling at lower speeds than you would otherwise expect, and that would artificially deflate or reduce the speed, so they get taken out of the equation. So the 85th percentile figure, as they call it, is the one which is quite representative. So that figure, for example, and again it's quite consistent all the way through on Alving Road, it's 32.3, 32.4. We have, again, we've got a consistent number of speeders on there at between 24.2 and 25.2% of the vehicles travelling on the road, and the average excess speed is between 33.6 and 33.8 for various times of taking the figures. The figure for Heathrow, the 85th percentile speed, the one which we use as the average, varies between 30.9 and 31.4 over the periods that we've been taking. The smaller percentage of speeders there, typically 19.4%. The speed, excess speed, however, is similar at 33.5. If we look at the common, the 29th percentile, 85th percentile speed, I'm sorry, is between 28.9 and 29.1 across the periods that we've been monitoring. The percentage of speeders is significantly lower, between 8.1 and 8.3, but interestingly, the average speed of those speeders is in the same bracket as previously at 33.2 mph. And the one on the street, which is the one between the bridge and the end of Port Road, again we've got a low figure there, sorry, the 85th percentile figure there, again, is between 28.8 and 29.1, so quite consistent there. The number of speeders is the lowest of the lot, between 6.8 and 8% of speeders, but again, the average speed recorded of those speeders is 33.1. So basically what we are saying is that while we have got people exceeding the speed limit, they are doing so by an average of round about between 3 and 4 miles per hour, which is not bad, but it's not good. If you consider the fact that this is the average excess speed, that means that some will be doing maybe sort of 30.5 mph, but some will be doing 35, 36. So we want to try to discourage that as all possible. It's unlikely that we will get the police involved in this. Just as a comparison, you will get a ticket if you're doing more than 35 mph. There is a formula which the police use for ticketing people on speed limits, and it's 10% of the speed limit plus 2 miles an hour, which for a 30 miles an hour limit gives you 35 miles an hour. We do also have 1 or 2 madmen in the village. The highest speed recorded in the street is 55 miles an hour, on the common it's 55 miles an hour, on Heathrow it's 55 miles an hour, and on Alving Road it's 50 miles an hour. Now, a gentleman came and spoke to me when I was moving the apparatus one time, and I mentioned that, and he says, yes, we know who that is. It is apparently, there are 2 members in one household. He didn't identify them clearly. There is, unfortunately, not a lot, as far as I can see, that we can do about that unless somebody would sit out there in the shop. No, I didn't say that. regards the bulk, what I will do is, at the moment, I've just got these in rough form because I got the last data a few days ago. But I will put them on the website in a somewhat more cohesive form. I suggest, my own suggestion is a way forward is that having published this data, we try to engage in some education. We say to people, look, by and large people are not massively flouting the speed limit with one or two very notable exceptions, but these figures do mean that a number of people are travelling significantly quicker without being absolutely mad about it, and try to appeal to people actually to moderate their speed and say that we will continue to monitor the average speeds through the village. We will be looking to see these average speeds coming down to more adjacent to the actual speed limit, and we are looking to every member of the public, every resident, to cooperate with this and make this village safer in that way. That's my suggestion. If other people have suggestions, then
Thanks for that. If you can put all that in the written form and send it to the councillors before we publish it, so we can look at it before we can, if we've got any questions, you can answer that before it actually goes out published.
Oh yes, obviously I would do that.
Yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate that we have, 55 miles an hour. It's frightening. It's absolutely frightening for the kids. Hopefully, the people concerned can be reported in some way. I still think it's worth sending this data as a written report to the police and to Norfolk County Council to see what they can suggest for actions for us to reduce the speed.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to do that.
25% of people travelling through the village are going over the speed limit. That's frightening. That's 1 in 4. That's frightening. So yes, so I think we still need to send it off and say, what can you advise us to do about this? What can we do or what can you do to help us to reduce the speed? Rather than just keeping it to ourselves. They might, 95% of the chance of saying nothing, but at least we let them know. So yes, I'd really like to see those figures.
Yeah, I will do that.
Thank you very much for doing that, by the way. I know how mentally boring it can be.
Sorry?
I know how mentally boring it can be looking at all these percentiles.
Well, yeah, it wasn't too bad. I'm not the world's greatest IT merchant, so it took me a little while to get my head around the data analysis module. Oh, and right to the last one, they very helpfully gave me an update, which actually changed the layout of the chart, which they went from back to back. It's the same data, but it was just one little distraction that I could have done without.
Well, thank you for doing that. Thank you. Now, on that point with Keith not being around really, it's just down to you and Jason, isn't it? To change the
moment,
are you alright just the two of you?
It's not an issue at the moment because when we first took this on, basically it was a complete blank to us. We hadn't had any basis, which was why we recruited a team of 3 volunteers, which was Jason, Keith and myself. I have actually taken more of it on myself because it is easier that way to keep track of the data and to keep it going.
Does Jason know how to get the data?
Jason knows how to swap the machine over if I should ever be, and in fact there is one where I recruit him anyway because it's mostly they are quite straightforward. There's one where it's a bit of a reach and I'm old and sad, so I get a fit young man like Jason to come along and give me a hand to heft it in place. But yes, he knows how to do that. Keith knows how to do that. What I will do is, once I am thoroughly familiar with the data analysis side of it, is that I will brief Jason on that as well.
Yeah.
So that if the 55 mile an hour merchant flattens me, then there will be somebody on hand to...
But not only that, it's useful for 2 councillors to know how to do it.
Oh, quite
or something.
The only reason I've taken it on for myself is not because I'm a glutton for punishment, but because as we got used to how it was operating, it actually was easier to have one person doing it. Once it's entirely up and running, then what we might do is Jason and I might alternate, and I will do a 4-month cycle, and he will do a 4-month cycle, doing the whole thing.
Yeah, as long as there's more than one of us, because I
But
know.
it's not out of any, I did explain the situation in the last meeting.
No, if you
Not
get
out of
that
any
point,
desire to exclude him, it's just
I'm
finding,
saying
as
that-
we have learned about this thing, finding the easiest and most efficient way of.
it's always been my experience, it's best that 2 people know how to do it, if you
Oh,
one
absolutely,
actually
I
does
agree
it.
entirely.
Yeah,
There are 2 people
Okay.
who know how to do it. The only thing that Jason doesn't know thus far is the data analysis side.
okay.
So
So,
if I can handle that, he can.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Right, item 9. Beg pardon, any other councillors got anything to say on that data?
I don't totally believe the Heath Road data, because that machine triggers before you're in the speed limit.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yes, that is, you're talking about the one on Heath Road.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for
Yeah.
mentioning that, because that is something which I didn't mean to mention. The site on Heath Road picks up vehicles before they
Yeah.
enter the speed limit. So that is, in a sense, a slightly false reading. Now, the sites are fixed, were decided by highways. We don't have the option to change them. We could, if it became apparent it would be a good idea, we could ask highways to change it. I rather think that it's no bad thing to have that sign there on Heath Road, because as you come round the right-hand corner and you are confronted with that flashing sign right at the start of the speed limit, but before you get to that bad bend and the narrow bit.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
Is there any way the sensor can be angled down rather than up?
It's fixed within the machine, I believe.
Okay, I'm just asking as a layman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as I said, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to have it flashing at people and reminding them that they
Oh,
are
yes.
approaching, because that is the
Yeah.
dodgiest part. It's one of the
Yeah.
dodgiest
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
hand side.
I've met a bus this morning on that, and that's like, you haven't got much room with bus comes up.
No, you don't.
But, that's just.
But it is a valid point, and it's something which.
It makes it look as if people are speeding faster than they actually are.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on. Item 9, Ball Club, to receive correspondence from MP Law and approve further action. We have had correspondence from MP Law, which all councillors have been privy to. For the sake of clarity, I will ask Joe to read out the pertinent points for the public.
It's quite a lengthy reply. The information that was sent to the solicitors was in depth. It included all the information the Bowls Club wanted sending and more. And I think the key points to note are the solicitor says that there are 2 relevant clauses in the agreement, which is 3A, to use the bowling green solely as a bowling green for leisure purposes with access via the playing field, and 3G, to park motor vehicles in approved parking areas where so provided, and to operate motor vehicles at an appropriate speed to ensure safety and tranquility of the playing field for users of all ages. Those are the terms in the lease as it stands. He has confirmed that under those clauses, the parish council must allow access via the playing field. However, there is no requirement that the access allowed is with vehicles. Indeed, even if some level of vehicular access is permitted in order to satisfy this part of the agreement, there is no set route across the field and no set category of vehicular access required by the terms of the agreement. He goes on to mention about a requirement of the Bowls Club to park motor vehicles in approved parking areas. Again, he's pointed out there is no definition of where these parking areas are or restrictions on the parish council for setting out new approved parking areas which match the public parking already set out and signposted. No requirement there is any provision of approved parking area, as this is a requirement on the Bowls Club to park in an approved area if one is provided and not a requirement to provide one. He's also said that the right in clause 3G is further limited in that there is a requirement to operate motor vehicles at an appropriate speed. Lyng Parish Council has received complaints showing that this appears not to be followed in practice. Excessive speed, unsafe driving and disturbing the tranquillity of the playing field to such an extent that the use of the facilities by children is being reconsidered on safety grounds would amount to a clear breach of the terms of the agreement by the Bowls Club. He goes on, he's basically sort of, what I think it would be a good idea is if I put a lot of this on the website, because it has gone in depth. He does refer to the cease and desist letters received by the parish council, and does, make points that, that the allegations, are about the current agreement cannot be amended. He has said that it does not accurately reflect the position set out in the agreement, which would allow for actions to be taken changing the position with the existing legal framework without being in breach of the agreement. He has basically said that his advice to the parish council would be to invite stakeholders to make representations and present relevant information in a managed and straightforward way, to consider the position in light of the evidence provided, to take further legal advice as necessary, and to consider the question of whether the Bowls Green agreement is actually valid anyway. They had a look at the trust deeds, they had a look at the fields in trust deeds, and ultimately the first thing he said to me was he wasn't convinced that the parish council could even grant such a lease to the Bowls Club. But as I said, he sort of basically said that the parish council are, they have not been in breach of the agreement by restricting vehicular access to the Bowls Club. So, the council obviously read this. My thoughts are that the Bowls Club should receive a copy of this report in full.
Agreed. So I'd like to propose that Joe sends a copy of all correspondence, especially this one, to the chairman of the Bowls Club for their consideration. I propose that. So I need Joe to get this down in writing. I'm proposing that the clerk sends a copy of the email from correspondence from MP Law to the chairman of the Bowls Club.
Yeah.
Forthwith, with a view to redrafting the agreement.
I think we should leave that out of it.
I'm just trying to put this motion.
Yeah,
To redrafting the agreement with members from the Bowls Club. In the new year. The agreement Let's go to wind the laptop up a bit.
Yeah, no, sorry.
The agreement to be written by a solicitor. And the reason for that is because we are not legal eagles, and we want it done once and for all for future proofing.
Yeah.
So that's the proposal. Have I got a seconder?
No, I think we've got our hands up to actually
Are you amending it?
amend the proposal.
You amend, right. So what's your amendment, please?
I don't think that the proposal should be that big. I think the proposal should be to send this information to the Bowls Club, but it shouldn't be in that same proposal to change the lease at all. That's too much in one thing.
So to break it down into two separate proposals.
Okay. Robert?
I agree with Councillor Jarvis. I think that at this stage we should simply send the agreement to the Bowls Club and invite them to comment on it.
Right, so do you want to...
I think it is premature to start talking about this.
Well, we're not meeting in December, that's why I thought I want to get some conversation started in January. And because we're not meeting in December...
May I speak? I know.
Yeah, okay, that was the reason why I'm trying to get it all in one.
The thing is,
changing the
No,
agreement.
we're not putting anything forward about changing. What I'm saying is with a view to talking with the Bowls Club in the new year,
Yeah, but
so they'll have a chance to read this information.
with a view to talking to them, but not with a view of changing the agreement.
So-
That should be discussed with them, and then we.
But I don't understand why we need to revisit the agreement. We've been told that by the solicitor.
I don't
Okay.
feel that is the way that this.
Because he's saying that we may not be legally in the right to issue that agreement in the first place.
That's completely different to the changing.
But this is why, and he is recommending that we sit down and create a new agreement.
If we couldn't create the first agreement, we can't create the second agreement. So therefore, it has, if you can't create the first agreement because we didn't have the right to do so, we haven't got the right to create the second one.
This is why it needs to be done by the solicitor so he can look at all of that and say whether we can do it or not. So the idea is I don't want this, I want to move on with it and I want to get an agreement with the Bowls Club in some form, and we clearly need to look at that original agreement and rephrase it, redraft it in some way so that it is legally binding on both parties. And it's got to be done by talking to each other.
Yes, but I.
And that's all I'm proposing.
I think not.
Just to explain Steve's point on that, what he's saying about not being able to make that legal agreement, the solicitor has suggested that due to the playing area being a playing field and being built and trust, that the parish council at that time probably wouldn't have been able to offer access via vehicle because of the terms that were in place. That's what they're saying.
They can say that, but that
Because
doesn't
it
mean
was
to
done.
say they did not. That's the point.
Yeah, but
If they
that
did
makes it
not-
non-legal because
No,
it needs
but
a
if
legal
they-
representative to rewrite it. That's what
No,
we're
but
saying.
the point is, that's from your point of view that you want it rewritten, but it might not
I
be.
didn't- When did I say
No,
that?
no, but it doesn't necessarily need rewriting. When the parish council first did that agreement, whether they were entitled to do it or not, they did it. And at that point,
No.
they may well have wanted.
No.
vehicle access.
Sorry, Paul.
They may well have given and intended vehicular access. And the Bowls Club may have their own proof of that. We do not know that because they haven't been given the chance.
Can I just confirm, the solicitor, and I will also confirm this, I will confirm this to the Bowls Club exactly what information was sent over, and the Bowls Club gave to me everything they wanted the solicitor to know, and everything was sent, and more, and I can confirm that that was sent. So all the information regarding the letters from the parish council saying please keep vehicles to 5 miles an hour, everything was sent.
Going back from the original time.
Going back to the original time, everything was sent. The letters from the parish council asking the Bowls Club to, please, just be, a bit slow, and the Bowls Club coming back and saying, actually, we haven't had any complaints. Everything was there,
Yeah, but-
and I'm just trying to, because I think it needs to be, the information. The solicitor has got all the information, and it was made very clear that the Bowls Club have been using it as vehicular access. There is evidence they have been using it as vehicular access. What ultimately the solicitor is saying, and he has said, in his email, that due to the breaches, by the Bowls Club, the parish council could actually bring the agreement to an end anyway.
But we don't
So-
have the proof of the breaches. That hasn't been confirmed.
We have
There
letters
have been
from
letters and communication.
communication.
I mean, obviously, the letter from the solicitor is what it is. If the council wish to make any more inquiries, then they need to let me know, and I need to do so. However, obviously, in the first instance, the Bowls Club, it would be nice for them to have a good week to have a copy of that. As a first, in
Okay, so if we break it down to get this moved on, we're all agreed that copies of this should be sent to the Bowls Club.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so I propose that the clerk sends a copy of all communication from NP Law to to the Bowls Club ASAP, to the chair of the Bowls Club. Can I have a second, please?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm quite happy with that.
Jason, whatever. Vote for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 votes for.
Is that unanimous?
Yes, no,
Yes. Thank you. Right, okay. That's fine. And I will also make sure that I send over as well a list of exactly all the information the solicitor was given, so that they can be reassured that at no point have the parish council tried to, I don't know what the word would be,
Swipe?
that all the information has been given to get to the information that they've got.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments from any other councillors, please? No.
I think at this point, maybe we just send that, leave it as that, and then what then goes on from that, I guess we wait what correspondence and bits and pieces we get back. It is my view of it. The second thing that I want to clarify on this is obviously the use of the plan field. As I've said from the very day dot, I would like to propose to continue anybody wishing to use the playing field for vehicle access, ask for permission, send in their risk assessment, their liability insurance, and the dates of when this has taken place in good time for the parish council to say yes or no, that can happen. So, because that's what's in place at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, we have had a request from others asking to use the field. We've given risk assessments. They haven't used vehicles, but they've definitely used risk assessments in good time. Yeah, but we need to. I think we need to stipulate a time.
So I propose at this
A month?
point. Yeah, a month notice of the date, so it gives them that time. And I think now is the time to either update the code on the gate or to change the gate to key game. So people having permission to use the field can access the vehicle, but people that do not have access cannot, because we've got to by
Approve further action.
Yeah, approve further action. Right. So I think there's two things. Sorry, Jason. Have you got anything to add? No? Robin?
Are we talking here about this request that's been received to use the field?
I think we need to come up with something whereby anybody who wants that vehicle access onto the field anybody who wants to use the field should politely, just be polite, ask permission, I would have thought. But I think we need to formalise it in some way or another, so that if someone, for example, I don't know, someone wants to use it to deliver goods to a house at the back of the field or something, that they write in and formally say we want to access the field, we've got deliveries coming in, here's the risk assessment, here's a copy of the thing, and then it gets sent to Joe a month in advance perhaps, I don't know. And then further near the date, they tell us what date, what time, so we can all have access. It could be anybody.
So do you want that on the agenda for the next meeting?
I don't think that that's ridiculous.
it's not, because people are going against the policy that's in place. So the policy is already in place that there is no vehicle access without permission. Yet the gate has been opened and people are driving across there without permission. Or risk assessment states plan. So it needs to be it's done properly for all users, because people shouldn't
I
use.
think that's got to be.
Can she just finish the point, please?
Pardon?
Got to be part of the use of the field. Decisions on how apply to use the field.
Yeah, so for instance, the Lyng Fling, say we want to have access to the vehicle on this day. They ask for the permission, they send us their risk assessment, they send the liability insurance, we check to make sure there's not anything else going on in the field at that time, and if they can use it, then we will agree, and at that time, then we can unlock the gate on the date of that event. That is what happens.
Yeah. If it happens anyway, then why do we need to worry about it?
Because at the moment in time, there's a gate code that loads of village people have, and access as and when they want to without adequate insurance. This is where this is all stemmed from.
Okay, so like you say, are you making a proposal on the approve further action then?
Approve further action,
So
yeah.
can you read out your proposal
Yeah.
again?
So, do you want me to start from the start, Sharon? Is that all complicated?
Yeah, is this with regards to the bowls club, or is it a separate matter? Because obviously the bowls club, that this is an agenda item for the bowls club.
Right.
Um, So
Yeah,
I'm just a
I see
little
what
bit,
you're
I'm just not sure how this is fitting in with that, or whether this is the,
Is it under the play area, playing field?
Play and field, yeah. I thought it was.
Yeah, formal council policy alone use the playing field, so perhaps we should discuss that.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ship.
sorry,
Yes.
is this for exercise of dogs?
No.
No, so it's not on the, it's not, so, sorry, I'm confused, are we still under agenda item 9? Are we still under the bowls?
Yeah, we start at the bottom.
Okay, sorry, I'm getting very confused as to where we are, sorry.
Right, okay, so basically, under item 9, we've agreed that we should send all information to the ball club,
Yeah.
that the further action, we've received correspondence, the further action is send it to the ball club, okay?
Yeah.
So anything else needs to be on an agenda item for January.
Yeah.
Unless it's to do with, unless it's to do with the, obviously if it's to do with the gate code and things like that,
The
then that
security,
could be, because obviously the bowl club have been using
Yeah.
it, and if the council wished to make,
So we can, I see what you're saying.
But if you're talking about a policy for public use of vehicles on the playing field, that I would have said, in my opinion, is a different matter and would be for a future agenda.
we have
Yeah, okay. So on that basis, because we were waiting on the information from the solicitor to advise us whether we could legally stop the access or not, and they have said, yes we can, we're well within our right, then I believe that we should update the gate code to stop unauthorised access. Or
There's no bowls
access.
going on at the moment for the next 6 months, so what's the
No.
point?
Well,
Because
it's,
of health and safety.
Maintenance.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
that's fine, but let Mel finish. So is that your
Yeah.
proposal?
That's my
Sorry, can I
proposal.
just be clear of that proposal? That's a proposal to update the gate code,
Yeah,
right, okay, to restrict access.
to restrict access
For all vehicles?
for all vehicles, except those with council with permission. Yeah.
Okay, is there a second for that?
Seconder, Jason. Those in favour? Those against? 2. So, does that mean I change the gate code tomorrow?
If you change it tomorrow, it's a health and safety risk because you have to inform the authorities.
The authorities will be informed tomorrow.
They won't mess about finding the code anyway, they're confirmed that.
As far as
They'll just go through the gate or the top of the gate.
So can I just clarify, then obviously if the Bowls Club need access for maintenance, are they
They can-
contacted, they're
yeah.
contacting the council
Yeah,
and
just the
requesting
same,
it?
just what we've already got in place there.
And then do I contact yourself, Steve?
they can contact me, yeah. I mean, basically, they can contact me. They got my number, they got my email.
Obviously, as long as I've got that to work for the grounds maintenance, then.
Yeah. Okay, item 10, to receive items for parish partnership funding and approve further action.
Can I just confirm the deadline for parish partnership scheme applications is the 9th of December, and the scheme, it's already been confirmed, the scheme will be repeated in 23-24.
Has anybody looked at it?
Again, sorry, Joe.
Parish partnership has, the scheme closes on the 6th of December.
Yeah,
9th of December.
9th of December, I know that bit, yeah.
But it will be repeated, the scheme will be repeated
Okay, in that
23-24.
That gives you a little bit more time, doesn't it, to...
Well, what I was going to say is I have been concerned, which I have said a number of times, that we have been running up quite a lot of extra perceptual expenditure. And I was therefore proposed that we do not make an application for parish partnership funding for this year. Because I'm not quite sure where we're going to end up financially. We have spent a lot of money which we did not present for. I know we have reasonable reserves, but these people's money should be...
There was a seconder for that proposal. Yeah, now, those in favour? For, against? 5, unanimous? Okay, thank you.
That we can redo it for 23,
Yeah.
gives us a chance to put an action
Okay,
in place.
play area, playing field. Sorry?
Just briefly before we move on, Mr Chairman, would the council like me to continue with my research into the...
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Research into
Into its process. Okay, item 11, play area, playing field, to receive update regarding the play area repairs.
Yeah, just to confirm that the order has been placed, and I got an email from Playdale who confirmed that the installation department is now working with the contractors with an estimated date of the 5th of December to repair that.
Okay, brilliant. Consider approve the need for a formal council policy allowing the use of the playing field for exercising dogs. So, consider or approve, consider the need, do we need a policy for the field, for walking dogs? Yes, Matt, Suzanne?
I personally don't think we should have dogs on the playing field.
Okay.
There's with children in there, that is a definite health and safety risk.
Okay. And you let your caravan people know that they can't walk their dogs on that field?
I don't think hardly anything do.
They do. I walk there twice a week, they do. Right, anybody else?
I don't think, as per the emails that went round, that we've got any right to change it. It's an open green area. That's what open green areas are used for. Yes, people do leave dog poo anywhere and everywhere. You know, we can't change
I
that.
think it's the odd.
Yeah.
2% of people
Yeah.
walk their dogs.
Yeah, so, but in my visiting of the playing field, it's always lovely to see families using that area with kids, you know, taking going for a family walk and taking the little ones on the park and bits and pieces, so I don't think there's a need for it.
Jason?
Similar thing, I think Lyng's got a lot of people who have dogs, and a lot of them go up there, it's very
Very safe.
communal, social, yeah, look, there's, you know, people get together up there and that's that, and, you know, that's
Robert?
a very good community.
I have no strong feelings one way or another, but we deferred this last time because the person in council that wanted to put it forward hadn't done so, wasn't there.
Yeah, but we have had a member of the public ask at the last meeting, that's why it's on.
Yeah, quite so. I don't think we can take this forward anyway without the, in the absence of,
Well, can I ask George to read out the bit from the email she sent?
Yeah, just to say that it's understood that the council would need to have a public spaces protection order in place to ban dogs from a public space or require them to be on leads, and the parish council cannot apply for a PSPO. Whilst the council could draft a policy requesting that dog owners keep dogs on a lead and don't use the field or don't use the field at all, it could be enforced.
So even if we had a policy, we can't enforce it.
No.
goes like that policy that we can't.
Okay, so, what do you want to do? Do you want to, well, do we, to consider and approve the need, so is there a need? Do you want to propose that there isn't a need? What do we do formally?
Not proposed, no.
Jason's proposed there's no need to have a policy, second then? No?
It looks as if rather than there being no need, it looks as if we don't have the, if we don't have
Yeah.
the scope to
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, but we need to get it off the books.
Yeah.
Those in favour?
Yeah, go on.
4, those against? 1. Number 12, cemetery update. Council's approval to remove male mold searches, yeah, so, yeah, we've done.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Mayor,
I'm not tired.
You need a bigger laptop, Steve.
I'm that tired. Right, right, so we've done that, we removed them, that's been covered, yeah.
Remove them and put them on the grave.
Right, okay.
There was talk of me taking them back to mine and inviting people to pick them up from there.
Do you really want that?
well, I sent a letter to that effect. That's what the
Oh,
council
right,
approved.
fine.
I've already sent a letter
And they've not
saying
done
that they
All right, I will take them back to mine.
Right, okay.
Sorry, that was
So
what was
I'm
agreed at the
not
last
quite sure
meeting.
what we
Okay.
I will, I normally have a look around there once a fortnight since issues with dogs or fleas have been reported. I will increase the frequency of my inspections down there.
Okay, thank you. Number 13, allotments. Receive update regarding the stream on boundary to allotments to consider approve further action. As I said before, I'm going to get I've got to get a passport picture and get the formalities sorted out. And once I get transport, I'll be spending an afternoon down at the records office digging out these deeds as soon as I can. And as soon as I get them, I'll copy them and send them out to all councillors on whatever information I've got. And I'll work with Joe to retrieve all the information that the Allotment Association has given us. So hopefully for January's meeting, we'll have a pack of stuff that we can look at and make a decision and see where we can go from there. And also, if needed, go back to MP law solicitors and find out their take on it, just to make sure we're covering all bases, so that we are legal and can't be challenged. Yeah? I will do my very best to get all that done by January.
I'll join you when you do that, Steve. So we
Okay,
can
thank you.
order more boxes at one time.
Can I just ask, obviously, if the council are going to consider making a contribution towards water, this is the preset meeting in January. If I don't have figures, I can't work, I can't
Yeah.
give any sort of, I'm a bit stuck. The last thing the council agreed was if it would affect the precept, then they wouldn't do
Yeah.
it. However, if the council are going to change that, I sort of need an indication because I will need to put the figures for next year.
I'll try, whatever, I'll just get the information first and then we'll go from there afterwards. I'm positive we can get there. Positive we can get there. You've got to keep up with it, guys. To receive update regarding creation of access onto the allotments. Until the trees are done, I know the square area, but until the trees are done, I haven't done anything about it, waiting for the trees to be trimmed back. Also, as I said before, I've been somewhat out of the role of doing anything because of my operations. I'm slowly coming back, and as soon as I get sorted, I'll get onto it. So apologies, I've not done much about that. I will rectify that. I'll grovel to the allotment holders. I've not done anything about it. Consider impact of avian flu on allotments. No. Oh yes, sorry. Plot 10, by the way, as part of inspections, the big one, next to Carol, is still not being cultivated despite requests written to. Personally, I think you should take it off this plot holder and give it to the next person who is in line, who has seen it and wants it and will work it.
Have they received a warning?
Yes,
Several months ago.
Several.
That was several months ago. That
So
was
as long as
back-
if we follow the due procedures, then yes, it's not simply, that is the next stage. Because,
so I'm pretty sure you guys on the allotment will want to see that cultivated and not have the weeds and seeds blown all over your allotments. So I'm proposing,
I don't think you need to because we've got a procedure in place, have we not?
yeah, but just to make sure Joe's covered.
Okay.
Yeah, proposing that Joe writes to,
Oh, it doesn't matter.
what does matter, yeah, can't name her. The lady waiting for the plot and give her permission to start cultivating it.
Do you,
I'm sorry, hang on. I'm writing to the current plot holder to,
Tell her that she's possible.
okay.
are we revoking it straight away, or are we going to say that they've got there today, or will
What do you want to do?
automatically?
Yeah, I need
We've
to
given them
find
all-
out.
we've given them all that before.
Yeah, so have we followed the process
Yes.
so they know that they will lose it if they haven't done it?
I will double, I will
Sorry,
double
just
check.
so I
No, I will
understand.
double check that.
If not, I just think, do we give them notice of 30 days and...
If we've been through the process, we don't need to, there is
I'm
a
frustrated
process
now
for
because
safety,
we've done
Yeah.
this many times.
it's in
Yeah.
And if we now say we need to hold off and give them another warning, pass another warning, and we're not
Yeah.
meeting until January, as far as I'm concerned, they've had their chances.
You said, Mr Chairman, we would follow the procedure. The procedure includes, ends with the retrieving of the plot.
Yeah.
So if we follow the procedure, then the next stage is the retrieving of the plot.
Has the plot been inspected by councillor, and in that report they have said that it remains uncultivated?
Not in a written report recently, but in my last report it was. And I think that last report was in October. I will check that.
An email was sent on the 26th of June. The council regularly inspect the plots and note you do not seem to have made any attempt to start cultivating it and becoming more overgrown. As there is a waiting list, the council needs to ensure that the plots are going to be cultivated. If you have any concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me. I've had no contact at all. That was the letter, that was what was sent
I just think the only thing is if that's the last correspondence
in June.
that was sent, that if they suddenly show up, someone else is on there, is that just how it is, or do we have to write to them and say,
You would need to notify them about it, certainly, or give them a deadline from which, the trouble is obviously at the minute, it's the quiet season for allotments, so.
yeah, that was just my point, so I just thought, have we said, if it's not, we will take it away on this day?
I've not actually said that, so that would be.
So can we agree then, is it possible to put a proposal forward to send an email to the allotment holder to say, we haven't had a correspondence from you, if this hasn't been cultivated within the next 14 days, it will be removed, and then we can automatically give it to the next person.
I don't think we can do that because we need to follow the protocol set out. We can't change the protocol just like that to suit us.
Protocol has been followed.
Well, exactly, so if it's being followed, there's no need for us to do another proposal to take it away in 14 days. If we're following protocol, we continue to follow the protocol until we've taken it away.
Let me just,
It says that, yeah, the centre should keep it well managed in a good state of fertility. So, hang on, let me come down.
I have no problem with it being offered to someone else, I just, my only thought
You-
was,
you're
if
trying to
we
give
haven't
people-
told them, and then they come and
No,
put
we
some
have
stuff
to-
in the shed.
We have to make sure that we follow the protocol
Yeah,
we put
yeah.
in place. We can't change that protocol
No, no,
from
no.
one person to the next.
If the tenancy is breached, the tenant will be sent a letter advising of the breach. This letter requires the tenant to contact the parish council to state their intention to continue with the plot and then remedy the breach within 14 days. The parish council will inspect the plot after 14 days to ensure that the breach is remedied. If within 14 days the tenant does not respond, the council will send through the post a second letter giving the tenant a further 14 days.
Yeah.
If within that 14 days there's no response, the council will automatically terminate the tenancy.
Yeah.
Right, so basically, under our due process, the tenancy is automatically terminated because nothing's been done.
No, it hasn't, because you need to give the tenant, say, you have 14 days otherwise.
Okay.
Yes. So you need to.
So it's Mel saying, then we need to write the letter in for 14 days.
Yeah, we'll check in 14 days,
Yeah.
and if it hasn't been done, if we note the date, I'll go and check myself
No,
on that date.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it a lot
But
less.
also to add on there, to offer it to the next, on that day.
I walk past it twice a day.
Yeah. No, but I just mean, just so, yeah, last thing you want is both the new allotment holder and the old allotment holder to be on there on the same day from the garage and plant holes.
Can I just clarify then that I'm actually following the procedure as laid out in the allotment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a second for that?
Second for that, please. John Jason.
Is everyone in agreement with that? That it's
Right,
following that
put that
procedure?
to the vote, please. Approved.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, unanimous.
Right, let's go.
Right.
Under the allotment. Under the allotments. So you're on 13 still.
Right. I've lost the offense.
To consider impact of avian flu on allotments.
Yeah, consider the impact of avian flu. Now, as far as I'm aware, there are only 2 plots that have birds on them, fowl on them. I know that it is responsible of the plot holder, but I think as a council we need to check that these birds are under lock and key, as it were, or at least contained, so they can't spread any disease they may have or get. So I'm proposing to go down tomorrow and check, if that's okay, on your behalf.
What are you going to check?
That the birds are inside, enclosed and can't roam free, that they've got an inside place they can go into, be kept in there. I don't think, and just basically make sure they are following advice.
Yeah, got to be covered over, haven't they, wouldn't it?
Because, because I've obviously got birds on the allotment, and I read the thing stated that they have to be segregated from other birds. You've got to net and over the top so no other wild birds can come in where they are, which is what we've done. So they are allowed outside, but other birds can't generally mix with them to limit the chance of spread.
That's definitely the motion.
Yeah, and all I'm going to do is just go down and walk and
That's
just check.
the key bit that I.
Yeah, just check, take a photograph, we've covered ourselves there.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. If we're following Defra's advice, then yeah, go
Yeah.
for
We
it.
did look into that, so obviously there's a few outbreaks around Lyng, but
Yeah, I know.
just to
I
cover
know
ourselves,
that
we
it's-
didn't,
I know that it is a major issue.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really-
Okay, are we all right with that?
Yeah, if Defra's told us to do that,
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Okay. A lot policies to review and approve the following policy to grant award policy, the grant award policy application attached that was amended.
Yeah,
Everybody, I think, so can we propose it that we agree?
yeah.
Mel, seconded by Robin. Those in favour? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, unanimous. To record planning issues, applications received. Joe?
No planning applications received, but a late planning application at 3 Duffield Crescent, which is the proposed extension and conversion of existing detached garage to a granny annex at 3 Duffield Crescent.
I have no problem with that.
Any objections to that? One? No? 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 Right, no objections.
Can I abstain?
You can
Just
have one
as
abstain, it's one abstention.
Yeah. My
To
next
res-
door neighbour, so just to be safe.
To receive decisions from Brecon District Council?
No decisions received.
No? Okay, finance, to receive financial update and income expenditure, we've all had copies of it. George, you want to say anything?
Yeah, the balance of accounts as of the 6th of November was confirmed. The community account was £18,409.12, business premium account £8,722.54, and that funny 12 pence.
We've got 12p in an account and hold
I
on.
will get round to sorting out what on earth that 12 pence is at some point. Bank reconciliations, budget comparisons were circulated. Balance of the community car scheme as of the 6th of November was £488,900.
Thank you, Robbie.
Internal, it's catchy, internal audit for me.
Okay, to approve payments made and to be made and the record receipts attached. Is there anybody who wants to say anything about that, Robbie?
Yes, I would like the council's permission to spend a maximum of 30 quid on replacing hedge plants.
That's under my.
That's on the next item. Items, that's on C. We're still on B, to approve payments
Oh,
made
sorry.
and to be made
Yeah,
and record receipts.
my apologies.
Is everyone happy to approve? I'm prepared to propose it. Right, yeah,
Yeah.
Mel seconded, unanimous. C, to approve purchase of hedging for Playfield, yes.
Yes, I would like the council's permission to go out and spend a maximum of 30 quid on the price, and it's not going to come more than that. That will be for plants along with stakes and spirals.
I have no objection to that. I seconded.
Yeah,
Yeah, approved.
yeah.
Cool, I will do that. I will hope to get those in.
On a
Eager
personal
heart.
thing, when you do get them, give me a shout, I'll come and help you.
I was about to say that I'll be glad to assist them,
Yeah.
because I'm not good at digging as I used to be.
No, but make sure you let me know, I'll come down and help
Well, I
you.
shall have a look at it.
Thank you very much for doing that, Robin. To no correspondence, receive items for information and future agenda. Joe.
Use of the playing field, active education, I circulated the email around. Does anybody have any objections to them using the playing field?
I think we should consider how we're going to start getting money from the playing field.
That's a different item. Are we happy for them to use the field in the first
That's
instance?
just people that are interested.
Yeah.
I mean, we can put use as a separate discussion on the next meeting about using the field to raise income. If you want that done.
Are we going to charge them anything?
At the moment, we don't have a policy to charge you for use of the field. That's what I'm saying, we need to discuss that. Do you want to put that down as an agenda item for January? Thank you. But in the meantime, are there any objections to you for them to use the field in December?
No objection, but I would just perhaps reply, just ask for a copy of their liability.
Yes.
Other than that,
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's great.
Yeah, they're hiring the hall and all by the pitch, so I
Yeah.
imagine they've definitely
They'll
got
have
liability.
liability, but
Robin?
just have got up.
We need the usual
Risk assessment.
risk assessment, public liability,
Yeah.
and what have you. And also an undertaking that any damage to the field will be made, because I suppose if you go on there in the middle of winter, we don't know what activities they are going to have.
Yeah.
They could cause potentially, I've got no idea, but they could potentially cause damage to the surface.
I think they just want to use it as a kick for, as a football field like it was intended to.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
that's
a kicker.
fine, but they have actually given us, we could have done some more information on this, so that they give us, so yes, that's the
It's just a
understanding
kicker.
about that
Yeah.
they undertake.
I mean, we're talking about primary school children. I don't think they're going to cause a lot of damage compared to what goes on there. But in principle, are we approving that?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Can I have a show of hands, please? 4, 5, unanimous. Thank you. So I propose that we write to them and say, yes, they can use the field as long as they provide evidence of public liability and risk assessment. Yep.
Yeah. No, well, I thought
Yeah.
that you already did, I thought you'd already
Yeah,
done.
right, we've got through that. I'm getting lost, mate.
So who actually, yeah, because it was unanimous, but who proposed that to start with, or did nobody propose it?
I proposed it.
Steve proposed it, and who seconded it?
Mel,
Right, okay, thank you.
anything else for
Public transport.
future agenda? We've got that, raising money by use of the field, future agenda. Anything else?
Email from resident public transport link.
Oh, yes, yes. You've seen the correspondence, you've seen Robin's reply, which I thought was brilliant.
yeah.
Thank you so much for doing that, but do you want to just have a quick, very brief for the public, what's happening, because there was
on the
a,
bus bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
very brief, I'm trying to beat the 9 o'clock deadline.
Yeah, I'll be as brief as I can. Probably members of the public know that we did have, a few years ago, we had some bus services through Lyng. They were subsidise quite a number of rural services by Norfolk County Council. At one point, in fact, the parish council was contemplating putting up a bus shelter with parish partnership funding, but then Norfolk County Council pulled the plug on the funding, and that was the end of it. We've had, however, lately a couple of inquiries as to whether public transport bus services could be reinstated. I looked into this and I found that earlier this year Norfolk County Council actually were given quite a substantial sum of money by central government precisely to subsidise rural bus services. So I've looked into this. I've looked into a number of options. One is there used to be a service to Deerham, I think it was once a week. There used to be services to meet up with the X29 at Lenwade. I've also been looking at the possibility of possibly running something which would meet up with the service which goes down the A47 and goes to places like the Longwater Retail Park and the Northern Norwich Hospital. I've also been in touch with Lyng Parish Council to see if they would like to, if they've got anything to add to that, because obviously if they've got some demand from there, then that would increase the chances of being successful. It's still at an early stage, but the money is there. It's slightly a chicken and egg situation because we've got to do two things. We've got to find out if the service is viable from the logistic point of view, and then find out if there's a demand for it. The way that I'm going about it, and I'm quite happy to take suggestions from other councils or even members of the public on this, the way I'm going about it is firstly looking into what is achievable in terms of logistics, in terms of where it is practicable, for example, to run a bus. And having done that, and again found out if there is support from Lyng and possibly other parishes, then to find out how what demand there would be for these services. I'm hoping that the people at the person who is handling this at Norfolk County Council will give us a heads up on the way to go forward with this. I haven't actually managed to speak to them individually yet. But it is in hand and I'm following it through. I will keep on it, and councillors and the public will be kept updated. It is something which the government is very keen at the moment that we should increase public transport, so there's a demand for it. There's a reasonable chance we will get some. But I'm not promising anything.
Well, thank you, Robin, for all that work. Thank you very much. It is appreciated. I'm hoping that's answered the parishioners' question from the last meeting. Do we need to reply to that parishioner at all personally, or should we just leave it in the minutes? Or should we...
I would think that it would be courteous to just reply and say that...
Is that doable, or are you happy? Yeah? Okay.
The matter was already under consideration and is now being acted.
Because we've had, that was raised at the last meeting, and we've had a letter since then, haven't we?
Yeah,
From someone else.
Would the clerk like me to draft a reply?
I have already replied.
Sorry?
I do also, when people normally send it, I normally turn around to say that I have handed it over and that, you know...
Oh yes, no, I just wondered if you wanted a brief update.
A brief update as to what we can do.
No, that's absolutely fine, yeah.
If Robin writes you a brief update,
Yeah,
and then you can send that out to the two individuals concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you. Thank you very much. Right, to adjourn the meeting for public to ask for agenda items at the next meeting. And it is to just ask for agenda items. Are there any agenda items wanted on the next meeting?
I would like to ask for an item to come up about the legality of the parish council denying us motorised vehicle access to the Bowls Club, especially since how you have now said that you're going to change the lock, the number on the lock, so if anything happened to us, and especially the boys down there when they're doing maintenance, like they're doing all this winter, anything happened to them, how do we get ambulances or fire or anything down there?
I'll answer that now. If emergency services are called to that field, the first thing we do is cut that lock off. They wouldn't hang about for anything, they'd cut it off. They are trained, that's what their training does. They turn up an accident, if they can't get access, they'll cut the lock off, end of. So that's not an issue.
Well, I still.
But you want an agenda item,
Yeah.
on, an item on the agenda at the next meeting to discuss the legality of us stopping vehicles
Yes.
on, but we've answered that tonight with our
No, you
sisters.
haven't. No, you haven't. You didn't give up, you haven't given us chance to read those solicitors' papers. You haven't given us any letters regarding these complaints you're supposed to have about us driving over there. You've got these people saying, oh, we've done this, that and the other. We've got no record of that. You haven't given us chance to reply to that, and yet you're now going to go ahead and change the lock and stop our maintenance people getting over there with the equipment.
We didn't say anything about starting maintenance. What did we say?
You said you were going to change the
Yeah, and
number
that
of the
if
lock.
you needed access, if anybody needed access, they get in contact with me. And I will then come down and give access. Like I did when you rang my house at 8:30 in the morning, when I was in the shower, demanded I come down straight away, which I did as soon as I could, opened the lock, and no one appeared on the field for 3 hours. So, you know, I'm prepared to do it.
Well, that
I'm
shouldn't
sorry
be
for
changed.
I shouldn't say, I'm sorry, I do,
That shouldn't be changed.
Council, I do apologise, I should not have said that, I'm really sorry. It is on the agenda for next meeting that we are going to discuss the access to the playing field. So it's already on that agenda. Does anybody else want anything on that agenda for next time?
I raised it briefly before about on this side of the river, the balsa wood that farm is growing there, all along there, all taking over the bank. I don't know if there's anything to be done about that. So I remember when years ago I used to swim from that side of the river.
Where we're talking about, Vicky, sorry.
This side of the river, on the right-hand side.
Oh, by the bridge.
Yeah,
Oh,
by the
right,
bridge.
yeah.
It's like, because you said the other side is the other council, isn't it? But this side is our council,
Yeah.
isn't it? I don't know whether anything can be
I
done
don't
about
think we have anything to do with that land. No, I've never seen any on the stuff that we could ask is it the manor, the old manor?
I might be able to remind you, sorry, just to make sure I've got this right. You're saying about the possibility of swimming from the banks
Yeah.
of the
The other
other side of the
side,
river.
this side.
Yeah, there, no.
Sorry,
On the right-hand side, as you go up the bridge, it belongs to the old rectory. On the left-hand side, it belongs to the mill house. Now, when the Admiral had the mill house, he was perfectly happy for people to go along and jump in off the gush and so on. But I believe that the current occupants
Yeah.
are
On the right.
Robin, I don't want to be rude, but this isn't supposed to be a discussion, is it?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be items.
Sorry, I'll beg your pardon. Yeah, no, that's all right.
I'm sorry, but I'm trying to keep to the...
Right.
I mean, could it be raised on the agenda because you could discuss
Is
it?
it private land?
It's a private land.
It's private land.
Yes, it's nothing to do with the council, so I'm sorry that can't go on the agenda. However,
Right.
we might find something else that we can do towards it. If you might want to talk to, if you talk to Robin afterwards, you might be guided in the direction. I don't know. Any other items for that agenda from the public for the next meeting? No? Okay. Right, the next meeting is the 18th of January at 7:30 in the hall. That's confirmed. And at that meeting, we will be talking about the precept. That's going to take priority over everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, I now formally close the meeting at...
Just quickly, just inform me.
I think you could, even though it's private land and stuff.
Can we discuss it at the end of the meeting? Because it's not part of the agenda.
As an agenda item, are there rights of way over that private land, over the Pack Horse Bridge?
No, I don't think so. It's private land. There's no rights away over there.
What about the Pack Horse Bridge?
I'm sorry.
Pack Horse Bridge.
The little bridge, you know what the name?
Oh, right, the other side.
Yes.
All right. I don't think, again, that's private land. We'd have to look at that.
Exactly.
Yeah. On the agenda.
or it could be looked at over the next 2 months.
We'll have a look
at
it.
In fact, while I'm down in the archives.
Yeah,
Right, I'm closing the meeting because it's now 3 minutes past 9.
Oh, dear.